Hello, here I am at 4.5 months. I should have done an update maybe at 1.5 months or 2 months. It would have been good because at that point I would have been able to say how I was feeling. Just in the last video, it did not persist much longer than 3 weeks. That very, very difficult time I had just as soon as I'd finished the treatment thankfully didn't last longer than 3 weeks, though it did feel like it lasted forever at the time. So I've got some perspective now, although I do know that 4.5 months is really early still, so it will be good to track these updates, 3 months at a time maybe, just so I can really see what was going on in retrospect. But at the moment I just wanted to let you know of a few of the markers which I had over the last 4.5 months. Obviously this is my 4.5 month hair. I'm really grateful that I could eventually, I think about a month ago, I stopped wearing anything on my head, which was a bit of a relief because it was starting to get a bit warmer. Just didn't want to do it anymore. But just some idea of what I felt I could do in early recovery. A month and a half after I got back, I returned to work, although it's worth saying that I have been working from home. I don't intend to even think about going into work for, I don't know, maybe another month, just over a month's time. So I'm lucky I can work from home. And although I was experiencing physical health challenges, and I mean that in that I was still experiencing my physical disability as worse than before I went for HSCT, which again is normal and nothing to worry about. But it was still a challenge to me. But I didn't see any benefit to myself of not working. It was a useful distraction, to be honest. And yeah, I haven't really had much trouble with that. Kind of taking it easy, giving myself a 4-day week for a little while, that kind of little things that you'll know what makes your life easier after this treatment. I would say that at the 3-month mark, I had gone back to my pre-HSCT level of physical ability, which was, it came on slowly anyway, so I was just gradually improving a little bit, and my strength was coming back and my muscle, abilities were improving. And that was a relief to experience being my version of normal, because to me that symbolised a nice baseline where I can now improve upon that to get better. That's what I intend to improve my abilities. And general life quality, it's good. Now I've been seeing a neurophysio since about a month after I got back, and I have been working really, really hard, which I want to do because I'm not someone who has come out of treatment and has experienced really dramatic improvements, and a lot of people can experience that, and that's really, really positive for them. But I've been diagnosed 19 years, so I was quite realistic that it might halt the progression. Well, it will halt the progression, but I'm not necessarily going to be having a lovely magical improvement in my symptoms. So I do about an hour of physio every day, and my physio is really happy with the improvements I'm making. She has noticed these improvements, it's worth saying. She did a 4-month assessment to compare against the assessment she did in person just before I went to Russia. So she did the assessment, and her view is that I'm standing a lot better, which feels like a anticlimax. I know it isn't. It's just normal reaction to wanting to be so much better than I am, and learning to accept that this will not necessarily move quickly. I don't know, it might do. She says that I'm kind of improving the building blocks I have to then make improvements on top of that, and pointing out that I'm coming from quite a low level, so I have a level at which I have to rise to just for my body to be able to handle building the strength in the areas that will make it easier for me to walk and lift my legs and balance, which is incredibly important to me. I have an MRI booked at the end of next month, which I'm feeling, I don't know, I don't think there's going to be anything wrong on the MRI, but there's a natural feeling of kind of wanting to just put my hands over my ears and just go, no, it's fine, it's all fine, I don't need to have an MRI. That's a very silly way to look at it. So I'm going to have MRI scans just to check that everything's okay. But it's a bit of a moment of nervousness, I guess, but not unusual. I've been in contact with lots of people who have been long, like years and years and years past treatment, and you know, it's an understandable reaction to have. So I have that MRI, and my blood results are fine. I know that's a bit vague to say that. The last ones I had looked at were in maybe 2 months ago, so I've got some more due, but the fact that my haematologist hasn't been trying to book a new appointment with me or order more blood tests really puts me at ease. I'm like, well, if you're not worried, I'm definitely not worried, and I feel great. That's the worst thing I haven't said so far, is that I am feeling really good in myself. I'm feeling very healthy, I'm feeling totally fine energy wise. I'm feeling positive. I do sometimes have a low frustration tolerance of my disability level, but that's nothing to do with HSCT. That's just been forever, and I'm pretty sure that's for anyone who has any kind of disability. It's annoying. So I am really looking forward to there being some physio improvements. I do think that's a real job for me to do, not HSCT. I'm sure HSCT has done its work. It's just now it's down to me to keep doing my physio every day, and I'm intending on doing another update unless something, you know, wonderful happens before then. I'll do another update in maybe 3 months' time, just to see what it looks like then, looking back to now, at what I was experiencing.